Hi, my name is Cara O'Donovan. I'm a former world and European champion kickboxer, and I'm a current member of the Irish karate team, hopefully training for this year's Olympic Games should they go ahead. One of the things that I credit my success to in sport over the years has been pushing myself to try new things and getting, I guess, out of my comfort zone as much as possible. But I know it's not easy. I mean, I've struggled with it. There's a lot of, I suppose, anxiety with trying new things. And here's over the years some of the tips that I've learned that have helped me take a step forward when I'm really not sure that I should or feel a little bit insecure about it. Um, I think the first thing that I've learned is that when you feel that anxiety or uncertainty about trying something new or feeling a bit insecure, I don't think you're the only one. From what I've learned from speaking to so many people over the years, is that almost everybody feels the same way. And I even think the people that say they don't feel that way are probably hiding that side of it. So I think it's kind of a comfort to know that you're not the only one going through that. It's just human nature, I guess, to feel a little bit insecure and anxious when they try something completely new. And I also used to get really concerned about what people would think, and if I fell flat on my face, which I did like loads, I've certainly have in sport over the years, but I used to be worried that people would just be so preoccupied with that and laugh at me. And do you know what? People aren't even thinking about you. They're so worried about what they're doing themselves that a lot of the time nobody even notices that you're trying something new, or that you've tripped over yourself, or whatever it might be that you're willing to try. So I think that kind of makes things easier to try and challenge yourself, because it takes that anxiety down a notch, I guess. The other thing that I'd say is that you have to look at the alternatives. So if it's something that you really want to do, but you feel a little bit insecure about trying it, what's the alternative? And for me, the alternative was that life was going to get very boring. I was just going to repeat the same thing day in, day out. And that gave me a little bit of a push to challenge myself and do new things. Especially when I wasn't so sure about it. I wouldn't have been sure whether I'd be good at it or whether I'd like it. But the other option was to just continue to do the same thing every day, and that didn't seem very appealing to me. So it kind of motivated me to try new things. And I think that one thing it's important to remember that you may not be good at something new straight away. I mean, I think that's just the whole purpose of it. You get to enjoy the experience of starting as a beginner, and everybody starts as a beginner no matter what they try. So when you're watching people, in my case in sport, the best in the world of sport, they started somewhere too. Like everybody started and they were, completely a beginner in it. So that kind of, well, it helped me anyway to realize that everybody goes through this step of being completely new to something and maybe not being that good at it at the start, but then as practice, as you practice over and over again, you just get better and better at it. And then I think the last thing I'd say is that I typically break things down into small steps, because it can get overwhelming if like you're trying a brand new sport, which I did a few years ago. I switched from kickboxing to karate, which you might think is quite similar, but there's huge differences. And I was a bit overwhelmed at the start because I had to learn so many different things, and I was so used to being good at one sport that was going back in at the bottom and starting a new thing. So I just broke it down into small steps. I wasn't completely focused on being world champion straight away. As much as I'd get distracted and maybe drift off into that kind of direction, I'd break it down into small goals. Like, I need to learn this technique this week. I need to adapt and learn the rules another week, and like loads of just small steps. And after a few years, I've now like progressed to the point where I do feel like I'm in contention to be a world class athlete in a new sport. So that'd be my advice to you. Best of luck.